Welcome everyone in this episode of our series Founder Spotlight. So in this series we invite our esteemed alumni who have started their own successful ventures and are continuing to run that. So today we have with us Mr. Nakul Kumar. He is the founder and CMO of Cashify, and which is India's largest end-to-end smartphone mobile solution provider. With over a decade of experience, Nakul has led the company through significant growth, focusing on sustainability and customer-centric innovation. Nakul is a distinguished alumni of our college and has transformed the refurbished smartphone industry in India. Welcome, Nakul. We are very delighted to have you with us here.
Thank you.
To begin with, you have been an alum of being an alum of MDI. It has been a while that you have passed from the institute. So, can you take us back then? How was it when you were a student there, and some core memories that you would like to share?
I think one of my best friends in life are from MDI. So I think I'm very thankful to my MDI journey where I made friends for life. I am from PGPIM course. So we were a small batch but a very strong knit batch. I think we faced PGIM started in 2006 and we were 2007 batch, the second batch. Faced a lot of issues together, from seeking internship to placements to managing the 1 year in Europe together. So I think we bonded a lot in our struggles together. And we also passed out in a great year, which everything was falling apart, from placements to the world. Again, faced it together. So I think build a lot of very strong bonds. And I think for me, MDI signifies a very strong network, which I have utilized over my past decade of career, from reaching out to alumni in any company, in any part of the world. And I have never been disappointed. Always got candid feedback of how we can approach things, uh, helped us in any way they can. So I think I'm very grateful to the MDI community and network. I don't think Cashify would be where it is without their support.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, sir, after graduating from MDI, it was only less than a year that you have worked in the corporate sector. Then you begin your entrepreneurial journey. So, it is the time where most of the students look towards getting the return of their substantial MBA fees investment. So, what inspired you to take entrepreneurship so early?
So I worked for 1 month only, but I think I come from a place of privilege, that I could afford to not work and pursue my entrepreneurship goals. I think, and I'm always acknowledge that fact that my family was well off enough to not for me not to take a loan for education, and hence I didn't have that pressure to repay, or I didn't have to go back home or pay for my sister's wedding or something like that. So in that form, the first 2 years I was not earning at all, and just earning enough to support myself, and which was enough. And hence, again, I had the privilege to take my time. Uh, Not everybody is in that position to pursue that. So, and I say this to everybody who wants to pursue entrepreneurship: always know what's your strengths and weaknesses and your circumstances. So, if money plays a very important, critical part in your initial journey, I think taking up a job is not a bad idea. Building that kind of financial strength and then pursuing entrepreneurship may be a better way forward, because first 2 3 years it's always going to be super tough, and you don't want to be pressurized to get financial instant results. To tweak your business model according to that, you should figure out your business model, which is the how do you solve the problem in the best way, sustainably, and where it can be a large company or market in future. So yeah, that has been my journey and my learning. I don't know if I've been able to answer your question.
So very well put. I also believe that this pressure of loan is one of the main hindrance why students don't pursue entrepreneurship, and that's why some of the colleges are giving them deferred placement options, and even MDI is going to offer this soon, which is under talks. So my next question is, sir, before Cashify, it was actually Reglobe, which I researched, and which was providing waste management solutions for the products at their end of life, like after expiry. And then it switched to Cashify, which is a platform for selling and reselling and buying refurbished devices. So, sir, what inspired that switch from Reglobe to Cashify, and why is there a change of name? Like,
Sure. So when we started out in 2009, the idea of Reglobe was reuse the globe.
Okay.
So our whole focus was how do we get into a sustainable business line where waste is free everywhere in India and you see dirt everywhere. And I think one of our kind of uh, you know uh, spark was when we were sitting in the Nescafe in MDI campus, and everywhere were the coffee cups and everything lying around. Like there's so much free waste available. We need to, how can we construct into something very useful and make a company out of it. So initially we started Reglobe as a consulting company where we don't have to invest money because we didn't have money to invest, and figure out if we can get into the knowledge based economy. So consulting companies to figure out how what to do with their waste generation. A lot of rules were coming out that time about how extended producer responsibility is an important aspect of corporate responsibility. So for example, if HUL and everybody is making shampoo bottles, what happens to those shampoo bottles after their use? Or if Coca-Cola is doing cans or Tetra Packs, what happens to the Tetra Pack waste? So those are the kind of things we wanted to get into. Luckily, our first project was with Nokia, which was at that time the market leader, and their problem was what happens to end of life phones. So we built a lot of knowledge base when we started with Nokia, and we did consulting for 2 years, and then realized that we can't really make a lot of money out of consulting, and also such a niche consulting. So we realized that we need to put put our money where our mouth is, and hence, how do you do it yourself? And between Reglobe and Cashify, our first project was we ran a rubber and plastic recycling plant ourselves.
Okay.
So for 2 years, we ran a plant in Faridabad, which is close to Delhi, industrial area. We used to collect scrap tires and rubbers across all the dealers in India, bring back to Faridabad, recycle that into its core elements of oil, steel mesh, and carbon black, and then resell that. So I think that was a huge change from consulting to manufacturing. And I may sound repetitive over my other interviews as well. I think if you can do manufacturing in India, you can. It's the hardest job, because all physical parts moving, manpower, compliances, the government, the state government, the central government, pollution board, everybody is after you. Their whole incentive is how to shut down your plant. So you are running against all odds to make that work. We did that for 2 years, took a bank loan, understood how money flows, how cash flows, had read everything in theory in MDI, but the practical application really hits you.
Yes.
Did that for 2 years and realized that yes, we are good businessmen, but this business model of ours is very linear. So as much money we would invest, the output will be in that ratio. It is not going to be internet based, which can really multiply, right? Because distribution is limited to what you do. So we realized that we need to get out of that industry and move to an internet based industry, and that's how we sold our factory and then moved to Cashify, where our learnings from our consulting days, where we were managing supply chain for Nokia, really helped us build the thesis for a direct to consumer brand, and that's how Cashify started in 2014.
Yes, agreed, sir. Even I have read one novel of Naval Ravikant. He was mentioning something along the same lines that our business should not be linear. Our output should be independent of the our input should be independent of the output that we will receive. So we should use the leverage, like internet is one of the leverage that you use. Very well put. So my other question is, so while initially starting a startup, so there are several challenges that we face, and then you scaled it to such a level that now it's the largest platform for reselling and buying smartphone devices. So what challenges did you face in the initial stages, and what challenges did you face while scaling it up to this level?
Yeah, I think I would say every 3 months and 6 months there is a different problem, and every growth cycle brings along its own unique problems. So I think initial early years was just getting a prototype business model in shape. How does the unit operating economic work? Phase two would be how do I hire a team when nobody wants to join a early stage startup? And startup now and startup then, the definition was very difficult. Right now, it's very glamorous, very sexy to join a startup. A lot of funding, yeah. Those times, I have had interviews where I first convinced the candidate and then I convinced the candidate parents that please allow him or her to join my company, and I'm not a fraudster who's looking to make a quick buck and then run away, right? And everybody has their own um, issues with what a startup does and everything. So and different challenge funding. I didn't understand VC ecosystem. We understood banks because we have taken loan earlier. So how do you take the loan? How do you repay loan? How do banks make money out of it? But VC ecosystem, we didn't really understood uh, early on how would VC make money? How would they get that multiple? Why would they invest in a valuation which is much higher than a perceived valuation? So took a lot of time, met a lot of people, read a lot of books to understand how this works. At that time, the MDI network also didn't have a lot of VCs per se, where you could lean on and understand that. So attended a lot of events to understand, made friends, and slowly that. So every problem, 6 months, solve it, new problems with scale, how to internet marketing, digital marketing. We were not born in the era where we were taught this in our formal education. So to learning this, uh, how to scale that. Yeah. So every year, every 6 months is a different problem. If you ask me what my current problem is how do you have a 3 year vision rather than a 1 year vision, right? Um, uh, we work on such a short term goals always. Moving from a 1 year vision to a 3 year vision is a challenge. While we have companies like Coke and Nestle who talk about 10-year vision, 20. Tesla says 40-year vision. No, while theoretically it sounds very amazing, but you really are not looking beyond a quarter when you are running a business. So I think for me the challenge right now is how to have a one is an Excel vision, but a vision where you start implementing it today so that 3 years down the line the company looks in a form which you wish to be. So
So, as you mentioned about the venture capitalists, it is still a blur among the students who are pursuing this or wanting to pursue. So, any particular book or recommendation that stood out as per you?
not really a book, but I think there is a lot of readable information now, right? Versus when we started. At that time, all the information was what happens in US, how are capital raised in US, and how VC behaves in US. India, the ecosystem is different, the behavior is different. Money flows from different streams. There is private equity, VC from US, VC from other parts of the country, domestic VC. So everybody has their own kind of philosophies. Each VC firm has their own thesis on how they operate, what kind of companies do they back. So I think it is very important for anybody who's getting into understanding VCs, how first of all understanding again their company strengths and weaknesses, and then what kind of VCs would appreciate that? Also, is their business venture fundable or not? So a lot of times it's not always a good thing or a bad thing being venture fundable. It is what your aspiration is. Sometimes it's a good lifestyle business, then you don't need to be venture funded. Sometimes you have such a great business model that you don't need to be funded, right? And you have examples of both zero da, right? No venture funding, and there are so many people who own villas and kotis in GK are all millionaires, right? They're so they must have done something to become millionaires, right? And they're not venture backed. You need to really decide what you want to achieve in life. And again, I ask young entrepreneurs, some of them, why do they start? And different answers. So it could be money, it could be glamour. Right now, the world is such that venture capital startups look glamorous, but it is not. So again, very important to identify what you want to do in life, and like everything else, analyze yourself and figure out, and hence then study what kind of VCs would fit your requirement and then pursue them.
That was insightful, sir.
And also it's relatively easy. Once you know, then it becomes relatively easy. Out of the 200 VCs, only 10 are relevant to you. You track them, figure out where are they going to be in the next event, what is the right way to approach them, and there also is their business model to find you. So it's in their best interest to connect with you and give you money. Right?
Even though we have started a different series, VC Bites. We have to give snippets and information about these kinds of VCs in our social media platform. So it's for that purpose.
Sure.
Sir, the refurbished device industry in India has a limiting growth. So why do you think what challenges it faces and how is Cashify addressing it?
Why are you saying that refurbished devices have limited growth?
It has been observed that till now
There's
it has
a
not.
mentality for people like
No,
they do not want to buy.
so refurbished is a fancy word for second hand. So first of all, second hand and refurbished. Second hand is if the device is as it is sold without being upgraded. Refurbished is technically a term where clean it, polish, rubbing, any part which need change is done. So unorganized, this is the oldest business in the world, starting from typewriters, right? Typewriters were the computers of yesterday, and then slowly moved to computers, then now mobile phones, in future VR, smart glasses. So the business will always be there. The unorganized market has always been there. The markets like Gafar, Nehru Place, who have been where you traditionally would have gone to trade in. The only problem was these markets were unorganized, and the value offering was not organized. And that's the space we saw. We saw that if I want to sell you a refurbished device, you would never buy if you can't trust, right? And we build a trust factor. How do we build a trust? We have our own service centers. We have a network of 200 stores of our Cashify owned and operated stores, where you can walk in for any kind of service you need. We give 6 months warranty on our devices. When you buy a refurbished device from a unorganized sector, once you are out of the store, there is no warranty. So those are the kind of things we are building, which automatically expands our market. For example, maybe you never would have thought of buying a refurbished. Maybe after this interview, why would I not buy a refurbished if I can get the same item at half price?
And even with warranty, like 6 months warranty.
Yeah. So the scope of India is a country of 1.3 billion people, 1.4, 1.5. There are about 950 telecom connections, right? Out of which only 350 have smartphones. The rest of them have feature phones. Two reasons, right? They can't afford one, right? And those 340 also, there is a long range where everybody is on a 7,000, 8,000 phone, but everybody wants to be on iPhone. Everybody wants to be on a Samsung, OnePlus, Google Pixel, but can't be because they can't afford. So anything which is sold in India, which is value for money and gives into the social, you know, it gives you social power. It will sell. And mobile phone is right now the social power of the world. People will judge you with what phone you are carrying, right? In your batch, there would be 16 iPhone 16 guys, and there would be people who would have a Xiaomi Note 10, and you would judge them as per that, right? Which may be right or wrong. It's not my place to judge that, but that's how my business works.
Agreed, sir. So I observed that Cashify originally started with as a platform for buying and selling refurbished devices, and now it is addressing a different set of problem, which is a pre-purchase decision-making issue. Like it helps you find the perfect device for you, and there are options for device comparison as well. So I'm observing that it is solving the pain points of customer throughout their customer journey. So I want to know what other pain points or what other gaps are there in the customer journey which is yet to be addressed and Cashify is going to address in future.
So I think we started a journey by addressing the biggest problem, which was there was not a safe place to sell your phone. Right, that was the biggest issue. And if you look at the ecosystem from a supply chain perspective, all the second-hand phone retailers were not getting assured supply of devices for them to sell to end users because the market was moving to OLX classified, so peer-to-peer transactions started happening, which moved a lot of their accessible inventory into hands of consumers. So our first pain point was for consumer, how do I sell my old device easily? And that's why from day one we'll do doorstep pickup, we'll do instant payment at your home, and once we solve the supply, then we move towards the demand. Sorry. Once we solve the supply, then we move to demand. That hey, how do I give you best in class refurbished device? So we have a huge setup in Noida, 1 lakh square feet, world class facility, best machines in the world, some indigenously developed, some imported, which are refurbishing those devices, and that's why we proudly give the 6 months warranty. And then how do we solve distribution? So we started our own stores. Again, how do you build trust? Otherwise, I could have placed them in third-party stores, but a third-party store would be selling 10 more things. Refurbished phones from other unorganized player versus me. So I don't want to give that comparison. I have a superior offering, so I have a superior channel to offer that. So I build channel, I build online distribution. So those are the things we solved. When we started the offline store, we realized we started getting a lot of queries for repair, right? Repair as a play was also not organized. So there is OEM repairs, which is in warranty repair. As soon as you come to out of warranty repairs, there is hardly any organized player.
Local repairs.
Yeah. So we solved that. So at our 200 outlets, you can walk in. We do instant 1 hour repairs. Again, we give warranty. Okay. Right. Screen replacement at home. We realized that data security is an issue. So we said people don't trust you to open their phone not in front of you. So our guy comes to your home and does it in front of you, the phone screen repair. So we keep looking and identifying what the customer core problems are and then solving them. Again, how do you solve for which next phone to buy? Because then we become your preferred place to sell.
Yes.
So these are some of the problems we have solved in the past. New problems we want to solve is how can I provide you phone as a service?
Okay.
Instead of why can't it be like Netflix? You pay monthly. And
rent a phone type.
Okay. I would not call it rent a phone, but you just pay something and you are every year upgraded to the latest phone, and you don't really care if what is insurance, damage, repair, everything is taken care by somebody. So those are some of the new things we are working on.
Okay. That's very interesting, sir. So sir, Cashify was the pioneer in this area, And now I have observed that other players are coming in, like Grest, which is also a startup by one of our alum only. So I want to know, what is Cashify doing to differentiate itself from these upcoming entrants? And first of all, does Cashify view them as a threat? If yes, then what it is doing to differentiate itself?
No, I'm very happy, by the way, by competition. I think the market is so large. I think there is so much space for many more organized players. If they become organized, then they also become part of the ecosystem, which expands the market for us.
Okay.
So I'm always happy for new entrants to enter the market, educate more customers about refurbished, selling their phone. Because if you look at it right now, only less than 50% of the people actually sell their old phone. Rest of the 50% phones are still in the drawers. So my biggest competition is the drawer. I don't care if you sell it to me, just sell it. Right? And if 50% more phones are back in the market, then it itself solves for all of us. So I'm more than happy to encourage new players to come into our category, to adjacent categories, like, say, why can't you do AirPods? Why can't you do other EVs, EV batteries, those kind of things, anything which is going to encourage reuse. I'm more than happy.
So apart from work, what has been one of your personal life experiences that has left a major impact on you and has guided the way you approach your leadership or future plans?
Yeah, I think apart from work, I think one major change in my life has been post my kids having kids. So pre-kids, I think 7 days working was a norm. Everything was work. After kids, I realized that life is not work, and also stage of company growth, right? I could afford to not work rigorously. So I think that change. Post COVID, fitness has been a lot. I've given a lot of emphasis on fitness. Turned 40 this year, so yeah, I think I have limited years to live, and I want to make the best out of it. And hence, if I have a fit body, I can enjoy my life more. So those are the kind of things which also keeps me busy apart from work.
So apart from work and family engagements, are there any other hobbies that you like to pursue?
Yes, so I do a lot of sports. I play football regularly, something which I had started in MDI itself. And then I keep trying new sports. So I want to be physically active. I did a stint of boxing, rock climbing. So I don't look the part, but yeah, I keep trying stuff. And I'm not good at it as well. So, but it doesn't matter.
Even I'm not good.
So even I am a boxer myself. I used to do it before joining MDA.
Yeah, we should box something.
Definitely, sir. So if you were to start this company again from scratch, so with all your learnings as if you have right now, so what would you do differently?
I would have started an AI company.
Okay.
AI is the future.
Yeah.
Right? And then get AI to do all my stuff. So yeah, you can never go back. I have no regrets. My whole journey is all about learning from every failure, and there have been many. Again, every 6 months, a failure teaches you more than your victories. So I don't think I would have started this company if I had done this journey.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have done something else because journey is more interesting than the end result. So yeah.
Agreed. And so with that AI point, I have read somewhere Cashify is still trying to incorporate AI. So I have read that with all the checking and calculating all like the price to buy and all these things, Cashify is incorporating AI to actually check the condition of the mobile and calculate the price. So you are still pursuing that?
Yes, I'm still pursuing that, and it's one of the most exciting projects we have in house. And I think in coming few days we have a big announcement. So
okay,
do check in.
Yes, definitely. So last question from my side. So is there a mantra or philosophy that you live by, that you have followed throughout your journey?
So I think be boring and disciplined. I think those, and this is I used to say it, be patient and persevere. But now I think being boring and disciplined is the short way of success.
Okay.
Because if you are disciplined, then you are boring, but then you will succeed. There's nothing to stop you.
Then you will be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's but you should also enjoy life. There is only one life. What's the point of being boring? So I always keep contradicting myself as well.
But they are stages.
Sure.
Right now we can explore them.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a series of this and that questions for you now.
Sure.
It will require a quick response, whatever the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So, books or movies?
Movies.
Early bird or night owl?
Sorry?
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Result oriented or process oriented?
Result oriented.
Work-life balance or integrating work and life?
Oh, right now work-life balance.
Okay. Work from home or work from office?
Work from office.
Formal education or practical learning?
Practical learning.
Okay. Startup hustle or corporate stability?
Startup hustle.
Local markets or international expansion?
Local markets.
Data-driven decisions or intuitive decisions?
Data-driven decisions.
Building a brand or building a product?
Building a brand.
Thank you so much. So that is from my side. Thank you for joining us. I hope your story inspires our audiences and spark an entrepreneurial spark in them. Thank you again for sharing your story from being a student at MDI to co-founding Cashify.
Thank you.
Thank you. We wish you all the best for Cashify and beyond.
Yeah, and I wish the whole team here best of luck. Second year, first year.
Thank you so much.